Hey, Garland Vance here from Advanced Leadership. I've been talking to a lot of high achievers and high capacity leaders who have said that it feels like all of this quarantining should have reduced their stress. There's so much of their life that they haven't had to do normally, right? You haven't had your commute to work, and many of the times you don't even have to put on clothes every single day. You just keep wearing your pajamas. And it seems like your stress should go down in this quarantine. But for many high achievers, the opposite has been the case. And this makes sense because of the way that your body was designed to deal with stress. See, anytime you experience any kind of stress, your body goes through 5 steps. In step 1, you experience the stress. Could be good stress, could be bad stress. But whenever that happens, step 2, your sympathetic nervous system kicks in and it releases adrenaline and cortisol, which leads to step 3. You can deal with the stress. You have the energy that you need to deal with the stress. Now that leads to step 4. Once you've dealt with the stress, your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in and washes the adrenaline and cortisol from your body. And then step 5 is when you encounter a feeling of relaxation. You can recover a little bit from your stressor. But here's the problem that you've experienced in quarantine. As soon as you deal with one stressor, there's no recovery time because your work and your home and all parts of your life have been contained to the place where you've been quarantined. So all of a sudden, instead of going into the parasympathetic nervous system kicking in and you recovering from it, instead of that happening, you go straight back to another stressor. And this has a terrible effect on you physically, mentally, emotionally, relationally. It harms your productivity. So, of course, it may feel like coming out of quarantine, you should feel less stressed, but in reality, you may be more stressed because you've not had a break. You've not had time for the parasympathetic nervous system to kick in. And that begs the question, what are you going to do as you go back to normal life? Are you going to go back to your old way of life, which did the exact same thing? In normal life, if you're a busy person, normally you're just going to go straight from one stressor to the next stressor to the next stressor, and it's going to never give you time for your parasympathetic nervous system to kick in. This is why now is the time for you to beat busyness, because as you begin to go back to this normal way of life, it's critical for you to change your habits, to change the habit of going from one stressor to the next stressor, from one commitment to the next commitment, from one project to the next project, from one busy activity to the next busy activity. This is your chance to take a step back, to get a bit of margin in your life, and to stop the stress cycle from going nonstop because of your busyness. Now is the time to get unbusy.